Hey guys, welcome to Rock Talks. Today we're talking to Phil Bozeman, singer from Whitechapel. We discussed a new album, King, his vocal influences now that he's really into clean singing, dealing with online haters because of this, the enter Alex Rudinger, and more. If you like this interview, please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and share the video with all your friends. Also, very important, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. Oh, by the way, if you see a little advertisement here and there at the beginning, in the middle, or at the end of the video, please do not skip it. By doing that, you're helping me a lot. Come on, guys, it's just a few seconds of your life, and it will really make a difference for me. I'm counting on you. Enjoy the interview. Hello, Phil. How are you, man? Thank you so much for your time. Welcome to Rock Talks.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
All right. How are little Max and Coco today?
Good. Yeah, they're actually hanging out, just resting on the bed right now.
His favorite hobby, right? Sleeping all
Yeah.
day. Just like cats. I have two cats, and I know what that's like.
Oh yeah.
All the time, my wife and I watch or look at your picture with Max and Coco, and it's all like, oh, that's so cute. he can't believe that you're a metal musician and you're that cute with your pets. And I say, like, it's really normal. Come on, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the music right away. Let's talk about King. Your latest album will be released in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks, right? 11 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I got the chance to listen to the full album front to back, and first of all, congratulations! It's a great album, amazing album.
Thank you.
And at the same time, it sounds like the Valley Part Two. It's like you guys are picking up where the Valley left off. And
yeah, exactly.
Musically and lyrically. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just part two of the Valley. It's me in my teenage years, and it's a fictional take on a non-fictional story.
Fictional take in a non-fictional story.
Mm-hmm.
Can you elaborate about more about that? It sounds kind of difficult to understand.
Yeah, so basically it's basically what could have happened and what I could have turned out to be. Because it's basically my my alternate reality and my evil persona following me out of the valley and to try to find the real me and bring me back. And that's why it's a fictional take, because obviously that's not what actually happened, but it's based on an actual story, which was my teenage years. And because if I told it in a very literal sense, then there wouldn't be really much there. Like there's like things I could say that would be interesting if it was the actual like the literal story, but that wouldn't really make for necessarily a good album. So I think it's better to kind of have a fantasy take on it rather than because I mean that's kind of like what the Valley was. The Valley was based on the story, but it wasn't fully represented as in the literal sense of the story.
Also, this album is, in my opinion, much more melodic than the Valley.
Mm-hmm.
I find that really interesting. Really, it's amazing how you guys keep pushing in this direction. And there are actually kind of like 4 Hickory Creeks in this album, correct?
Yeah, I mean we've got Orphan, which is definitely along those lines, and Anti-Cure, I would say, and the title track Kin, and I'd say probably History is Silent is kind of like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's just we're expanding more on the valley on with this album.
Was it difficult to write songs in this more melodic direction with King?
No. I mean we've always had some sort of melody, even dating back to the Smag Defilement. I mean, we had as far as musically we did. But yeah, I mean we've been experimenting with this since Mark of the Blade, and you know it's just something that we've always wanted to implement, but you know doing this kind of stuff is a little bit more difficult. Just considering you know we haven't really put that much time into it previously. So but as far as like we just naturally work very well together. So yeah, I mean it's a pretty it's pretty easy process because we would just work so well together.
Since Bring Me Home, the track from Mark of the Blade, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you guys got some haters on YouTube and social media complaining about this is not deathcore, this is not heavy enough.
Mm-hmm.
Are you expecting more of that in for this album for King, since it's much more melodic, not only compared to the Valley, but also a million times more melodic compared to the first two albums and some others?
Yeah, I mean, I expect that regardless if we kept writing stuff like the Somatic Defilement or you know all the early stuff. I mean, I expect that regardless of what we do. That's just part of it, and you know, people. That's what music is. It's a very subjective thing. You know, you can love it or hate it, and you know that's okay. Um, but it is what it is. If people dislike it, then that's their right to be able to do so. And but as far as but you know, at the end of the day, we're writing music that we enjoy and that we like to write. So if it if people enjoy it, then you know that's just the bonus for us. And if um but you know, of course, there's not everybody's gonna like it. I mean, that's impossible to get everybody to like it. And you know,
Yeah,
again, it doesn't matter to us if people dislike it, you know, because that's how life is.
yeah. So you don't take these critics to personal.
Oh, definitely not. No.
And you guys like to write music, uh, first of all for yourself, right?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, because if you're not doing that, then I mean, uh, you know, that kind of defeats the whole purpose of writing music.
Yeah. What's the point?
Yeah.
Right. All right. So in another interview, you said King, right? It's kind of like chapter two, but there's also the next album will be kind of like chapter three, so it's a whole trilogy, right?
Well, that's not well, we haven't really decided on that yet. I'm not thinking that it will be a trilogy, but I mean it could be. I'm not sure. But as far as looking into the future, I wouldn't imagine that we would do something that would be a trilogy. I would think that we would maybe do something maybe different, but who knows? But I mean, as far as the subject matter, you know, the lyrics and stuff, I think that would probably go in a different direction.
Mhm.
But you know, I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. I ask this because you kind of did the trilogy thing in the past with the first three albums, you know, really brutal, really deathcore, and then kind of different with the self-titled Mark of the Blade. And now The Valley and King sounds like a whole different chapter.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the first three albums were, you know, similar in sound, and the next three were similar in sound, and now these two, but now, you know, the third one of this trilogy would be obviously the next album. Yeah, I mean, we didn't actually even really mean to do it like that. It's just kind of just naturally how it's happened. And but it is interesting that it's happened that way.
Yeah, and it turned out for the best, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Because it's all about evolving as musicians. If you keep repeating yourself, putting out the same record again and again, it would turn boring, and predictable, which is the worst thing for a band, especially a metal band, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean that's our whole philosophy on it. I mean, we just were at the point where we were like, I mean, just getting just burn out on the heavy stuff, I mean, because we enjoy all kinds of different types of music, I mean, we hardly listen to metal as it is, outside of writing it and playing it live. And that just comes with the territory, you don't want to go to work and then come home and do more work, like you just want to branch out and do something different. You want to go out and have a beer with one of your friends, or you want to, come home and play with your dog or something. You don't want to come home and do the exact same thing you were doing.
You're human.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and
You can't
that's
do metal all the time.
yeah, exactly. And it's just we're all people. Nobody's better than the next person, and it's just with a lot of this stuff in social media, it becomes a little bit kind of like a cool who's the coolest contest, or whatever. But yeah, I mean, we just write music, and it is what it is. If people liked our earlier stuff and hate this stuff, that's I get it, that's totally fine. You can have your opinion.
All right. Could you please wait a few seconds? My cat is trying to leave the room and it's making noise. Please.
Yeah.
Vamos. Yeah. Right, I'm back. So, since you said that you don't listen to much metal in your spare time, what do you like to listen?
I listen to like a lot of hip hop. I listen to classic rock, or just like alternative rock. A lot of 90s stuff. I feel like the 90s was like the pinnacle for like heavier music.
Oh yeah, totally.
And 90s, and of course 80s and 90s. But more so for me the 90s, because that's what I grew up in.
You're 35, 6, I believe.
36.
All right.
So like, yeah, I mean, I grew up on like Pantera and Metallica, and of course, once the grunge era came in, I loved Nirvana, Alice in Chains, Typo Negative, and just all that, just like the 90s to me are just like the golden age of just like, just alternative rock and all that stuff, Soundgarden, just all kinds, Stone Temple Pilots. It just, the list goes on. I mean, it's just, there's just so much stuff that came out in the 90s. And of course, like on your shirt, Deftones, I mean, they've been doing it since the 90s. And yeah, I mean, it's just, man, we just have, we have so much influence, and that's what we want to bring into our music. And we don't want to have like a genre just plastered on our name, and that's all we can write, that we want to be able to do whatever we want to do.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you want to be Whitechapel, not a deathcore band, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct. All right, let's talk about your vocal influence on this record. On previous albums, I sensed a heavy influence by Tool, Minor, singer from Tool. But in this record, I feel a little bit of Opeth influence. Am I correct?
I mean, I'm definitely take that as a compliment. I think Michael Ackerfeld is incredible. I think he's just, I mean, Opeth is just a very, they're just like you were talking about Maynard, like Tool. They're just a one of a kind band. You know, no band sounds like Opeth. Like, there's just, if you played an Opeth song that I'd never heard before, I would be able to tell who it is instantly, especially just because of Michael Ackerfeld's voice. He's just so distinct and very,
Unique.
yeah, he's incredible. You know, even with like Bloodbath, the stuff he did with Bloodbath is incredible. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely, I mean, you know, I'm sure some people probably say, if, you know, of course, you know, I'm influenced by Tool in A Perfect Circle, and pretty much because I think Maynard is honestly just a genius. I think he's incredible because he's just, again, he's just like Chino. Chino is, no one's like Chino. No one's like Maynard, and that's what I love. The people that you can instantly tell who it is as soon as you hear their voice. And that's I take a lot of influence from artists like that because it helps you separate yourself from the rest of the pack and to have your own unique sound. And you know, but yes, I take a lot of influence from, you know, Maynard, Lane Staley, as far as, you know, singing goes. I feel like I obviously take influence from Deftones, like, you know, but there's nobody that can sound like Chino is a one of a kind. Like, he's the only person that can do his style. I've never heard anyone else do his style, and that's why they're so beloved, because it's just such a unique sound. And but yeah, I've always been influenced by Maynard. I've been influenced by, you know, of course, like I said, Lane Staley, Phil Anselmo. I thought Phil Anselmo is incredible.
We like the same bands.
Yeah,
you keep mentioning all my favorite bands ever.
yeah. I mean, Pantera, to me, as far as metal goes, I think, as far as like heavy stuff goes, I think Pantera is probably my favorite. Just, I think that they're just, again, just a one of a kind band. No one will ever be Pantera ever again.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Pantera will never be Pantera ever again, unfortunately. Yeah. But we were lucky enough to live in those times where they were a band. So we just take what we can get with what life gives us. And, you know, it's just one of those special moments that we were able to experience.
I agree. So would you say that you are looking for that, you are seeking for that to turn into a unique singer with this album, maybe as well?
Yeah, because I don't want to be any of these singers that I've mentioned. They are very big influences for me, but I don't want to just copy them or just sound just like them. You know, there's a certain style that you usually kind of fall into, and one that you're very just connected to, and just that dark kind of like singing style is kind of like what I like. I don't like the, you know, like the poppy, like, you know, pop stuff, you know, I'm not into that kind of singing. I like the more like dark and somber, emotional, like dark, like Michael Ackerfeld from Opeth. I mean, like, he is,
and Lane as well, right?
Yeah, Lane Staley. I mean, he just something about them. They just have it. They just know exactly, you know, how to get their emotion across, but also sound completely unique. So yeah, I mean, it's a new thing for me to venture into, and that's what I'm trying to do, is trying to find that, because this is all new to me. Well, not new. I mean, I've sang for a long time, but not in a professional sense, you know, like in a studio or because that's completely different than singing in your car. It's
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've put in the time to figure out my screaming voice, and now the singing stuff is just something I'm trying to find.
Yeah, maybe you will keep developing your own clean voice in the next years, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Back when the Valley was out, I remember one of my friends said a very interesting thing, and I said to myself, if one day I got the chance to interview Phil Bozeman, I will ask him this. So when the Valley was out, he said, I am sensing that Phil is trying to be the next Corey Taylor. Maybe in a few years, he will start a different project when he will use only his clean voice. So your answer, please.
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about doing something like that. I just have I almost feel like if I were to do that, I would be turning my back on the rest of the guys in the band. I just have I don't know. A lot of people probably wouldn't see it that way, but I guess I kind of do. I just don't want to take away from Whitechapel, but at the same time, yeah, I would love to do something like that. But as far as writing the music, actually playing the instruments and stuff, like I could do it. But I would probably bring along our guitar player, Ben Savage, to write the music to it. But then again, I don't want to take away from material that we're writing for Whitechapel. So like, in a perfect world, yes, I would love to do that. But just time will tell. We'll have to see if that's something that I can venture into.
And what about just an acoustic side project? Only you as a solo artist.
Well, that's what it would be. It would be probably something along the lines of like an acoustic kind of thing. And again, I would just bring along probably Ben Savage, or one of our guitar players, for him to be a part of it, because he can sing too, and that it'd be cool to have me and him, just kind of doing our own thing. But again, I don't want to take away from the rest of the guys, so it'd
Or
be
maybe
something
you
we'd
can sing covers in that side project in an acoustic way.
Yeah, you never know.
Some Alice in Chains would be great.
Yeah.
Good voice. Are there any vocal guests on King?
No.
Oh, so it's all you. Nice. And at some spots on the record, I was like, I'm not sure if this is Phil. Maybe it's a guest. So
no, it's all me.
Congratulations. You keep pushing. That's great.
Thank you.
All right. Like 3 days ago, or you guys announced a tour with Cannibal Corpse and Revocation. I'm sure you are really, really excited, since Cannibal Corpse was one of your very first influence after watching the Ace Ventura movie, right?
Yeah.
So are you guys preparing something special for this tour, since you will be on the road with the mighty Cannibal Corpse?
We're just looking forward to playing some of the newer material. Given what the tour is, which is probably going to be a lot of death metal people. We're gonna probably try to stick a little bit to the heavier stuff that's on the album. But we're still gonna be us. We're still gonna promote the new album, and but as far as this, I feel like the setting of that show calls for more of like the heavier stuff, because that's kind of what people are coming to hear. But yeah, I mean, we've toured with Cannibal before. It was on Mayhem, so I mean that wasn't really necessarily a tour. We weren't really touring with them. It was just a big festival tour. So this will be our first intimate club tour with them. So
it's a co-headline tour, or
no?
Cannibal Corpse headlining?
Yeah, Cannibal Corpse headlining.
Right. Right. Yeah. Plus, there are like 4 songs on King that are really, really heavy. So it's not like it's an entire melodic album.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is Alex Rudinger, right? Or Rudinger?
Rudinger.
Rudinger, all right. Is Alex Rudinger the official Whitechapel drummer finally?
Yes, he is.
Why did you guys take so much to make this announcement? Because he has been playing with Whitechapel since 2019, maybe 18.
Yeah, I mean, we just want to make sure that this is what's going to be. We want to give someone a chance to kind of prove that they want to do this and stay with us. So we don't want to just like bring anybody in and just make them a member right like that, you know. So it's just just a natural progression, you know. This is the right time to make this decision, and we just don't like to rush into decisions and just because if he quits, a month from after, just a month later, then then we have to get another one. It just looks bad to us, to constantly have to keep getting new people. And because that's one of our biggest problems that we faced as a band as drummers. We just because our first drummer, of course, he never really went on tour with us, our first original drummer. And then then we had Kevin Lane, and Kevin just ended up stepping down himself because he had a foot injury that just pretty much kept him from playing his kick drum efficiently. So, and then ever since then, after him, we had a couple fill-ins, and then we had Ben Harkleroad, and then he ended up quitting in 2016, 15, 16, something like that. And then we're just like, well, what are we gonna do now? And then we have some fill-ins and people that play with us. And then because we'd talked to Alex Rudinger a long time ago, but he was doing his own stuff. And so
it's like a curse for you to get a permanent drummer.
That's one of been our biggest issues.
If you like this interview, please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and share the video with all your friends. Also, very important, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell.